Fodbor the Bard. What an odd name. Is he good? Let's figure it out together. Today on the MTG Jedi Show, we're going to be discussing this epic dwarf champion, Fodbor the Bard. I'm pretty sure most people say Fodbar the Bard, but it's clearly an O, okay? It's clearly an O, Fodbor, but it is a very strange name, so however you want to say it. But you know how we do it today on the channel. We're going to go into the index. We're going to talk about this champion's skills. We're going to talk about how I would build him, although you did get a little spoiler there. And we're going to show him in action and talk about where he can be used. So let's hop into his abilities and get right into this new dwarf champion. Okay, why are we talking about this guy? It's not because of his A1. His A1 attacks 3 times and he has a small chance to place a heal reduction, although that ability can be useful in a couple different places. But with a 25% chance, it's still not that likely, although heal reduction is a good ability. The real reason why we would be using this guy is for his decrease defense, okay? Now, I need to be clear here. You have to ascend this guy. If you don't ascend him, then this is going to be a 30% decrease defense, and that almost tricked me into thinking he was really bad, okay? So make sure that you do ascend him. This is with the ascends. He's going to have the 60%, which obviously is twice as good as the 30%. Okay, and then with the books being very important as well, that will put this at 100% chance. His A2 actually super good, although it only attacks one enemy. He has an 80% chance. Again, books being very important here, would go to 100% chance. And he's going to steal 2 random buffs. Not just remove them, actually put them on himself. You don't see that ability very often. And then if they have no buffs, then he'll stun them, which that's awesome, okay? Now, this is an AoE, and it's going to come down to 4 turns with the books. And then this will go from 4 to 3. And in the meantime, you'll hit 3 times, a couple of times. So, very interesting skill set here. His base HP is kind of low. His defense is really low. And that's because he's an attack-based champion, okay? Now, you don't want to worry about the fact that he's an attack-based champion. We're going to try to make him do a little bit of damage, but we're not going to go like full nuke here, guys, because his abilities, his purpose in your team is to decrease the defense and to remove the buffs, okay? And where you should be using him would be for that reason. There are plenty of other champions to do damage for you. I would say focus on damage on someone else and focus on this guy building up his accuracy. But we'll get more into that in a minute. In fact, let's just hop over there right away and discuss how I would build him. Now, I'm trying to keep my emotions in check on this guy because I think he has the potential to be outstanding, but I have yet to use him, so you're going to get my first reaction to this guy when we use him for the first time. All right, so I have put him in Relentless because I just never use Relentless. And I actually think with his skill set, being able to attack multiple times with this heal reduction is good. And that will hopefully kind of lower the cooldown rate of these abilities so that maybe it'll feel like this is 2 turns and this is 3 turns, if we can proc an extra turn every once in a while. But you really want to build him defensively. I think an HP chest is in order on this champion. Defense is not going to be a good idea because his defense is so low, okay? But an HP percent chest, similar to how we do on Cold Heart or somebody like that, could be very good here. I have put crit rate gloves on here. We'll see how survivable he is. We can switch these over to HP percent gloves if needed, if we need to make him more survivable. But basically the stats you want on him are HP, accuracy. We're going to do crit rate as well, but speed. HP, accuracy, and speed. And I've put a little bit of crit damage in here. We have pretty decent set of boots there with the crit rate. We have an accuracy banner. I did put crit damage amulet. The amulet would be maybe better to be defense. The same with the ring, might be better to be defense. Those 2 slots are very good to help your base defense get raised. We have total stats that seem very reasonable on paper to me. Okay, I didn't do anything crazy. We got like 41,000 health, almost 3,000 attack. I did put a little bit of effort into raising the attack stat because that's where a majority of your damage comes from your attack stat plus with the 100% crit and then the crit damage. Okay, we have 158 crit damage. It's nothing crazy. Like I said, it focuses on accuracy and speed. Try to get the speed over 200, try to get the accuracy over 200, and then build up the rest of your stats from there. All right, I did fully book him. I didn't really have a choice. That's just how the books landed in order for me to get these cooldowns over here. But I would say if you don't get all the books in the A1, if you get the books in the A2 and the A3, you could stop there. I also did put masteries on here. I think that I may have made a mistake in not putting Giant Slayer here, but his A2 and his A3 only really hit once. So I typically like War Master for champions like this. You could easily come down here to Eagle Eye. If this is your main champion that you're using for decreased defense, then you would want to do Eagle Eye. And doing the defense tree can be good as well if you're not putting any damage on him, okay? So let's see him in action. Where are we going to use him? How are we going to use him? And we're going to start back in the index for that section. So let's do it. What is his role? So why have I come back over here to the index? Because he is the only champion with this type of ability in the entire faction. Nobody else. I mean, tell me I'm wrong. And like, did I forget somebody? But no, I really don't think there's any other decreased defense champion in the whole faction. I think this is the first one. I mean, yes, Ragnar, he does have the single target decreased defense. He also has the weaken. I may get around to building him at some point as well because I think that single target could be a good idea. But as far as all enemies, there's nobody. Nobody does it. And that makes him so super important for one of the major areas in the game, and that is Faction Wars. Wait, did I just click on Arena? I swear I clicked on Faction Wars. Okay, Faction Wars is very important for glyphs and resources you see at the bottom, and then Lydia eventually when you progress that far on your account. He could also be all right in campaign if you're getting through the stages, but again, you would need him very defensive. He could be played in basically every dungeon because every dungeon needs a decreased defense. Every dungeon, okay? In arena, he could be on your main arena team or your 3v3 team. I don't think you're going to want to use him in Clan Boss. You could if you really needed to. But again, he could be on your Doom Tower team. Like, this guy can play, right? He has the ability to do so. So we're going to take a look at him in Faction Wars. And, I've beat all the factions, so they're not good enough unless they can basically beat stage 21. I think that I'm going to replace him for Grizzled Jarl. It's the same kind of ability there. And we do have an attack in all battles lead. And then we have some AoE provoke type of abilities, as well as a speed turn meter increase. My dwarves is pretty decent, but my times are slow on this stage. Once you've beaten stage 20, then you want to get a reasonable time so that you can just auto-click it every time. Okay, Tormund I have set to go first, which is unfortunate, but he's speed tuned for my arena team. All right, so he's going to attack all enemies. All right, he did a little bit of damage there. Then we'll increase the turn meter. And then we'll just go ahead and hit auto here, I think. Now, one of the reasons why I wanted to come in here is because I think, look at that. He just did 30k on that hit. That was the same as Gala. Hold the phone. Rockbreaker did 11k. And that was his A2, the steel. Okay, his A1 doing about, 4,000 per hit. Okay, that's much better where I thought it would be. Okay, Tormund did 24k. It's good to try to get an idea. And we're proccing extra turns with him. I will say his animations and the animations of the dwarves in general are pretty slow, which is really unfortunate because that makes people not want to use them. He is weak hitting here quite a bit because he's the wrong affinity. And you see there Gala 37. Okay. So maybe I just looked at the damage wrong. You'll have to tell me in the comments. Did he actually do 30,000 or something hit there? And I'm real interested to see at the end of this run how much damage he did in comparison to everyone else. Now, I'm not seeing very many War Master procs, but using him in the Dwarves faction, I still think War Master is probably going to be the best bet for him. I don't know. Tell me in the comments if you would use different masteries. That's what I'm trying to say. And he seems pretty decent here. Speaking of masteries, I'm not sure if I mentioned when we looked at the masteries, but we did put the ability to extend the debuffs. So to give, more turns with the decreased defense, we have a 30% extra chance. Here on this level, the stealing the buffs can be very useful. These are going to have block damage if we don't get them killed quickly. And right now we're well above the normal time of me coming through here. We have the decreased defense there. And this decreased defense ability, obviously that's one of the most important because it helps you do more damage. And so I think that Fodbor here, he did 23k there. I mean, that's not too bad of damage, and we don't really have him built for damage. So if you wanted to put some more effort into maybe putting crit damage gloves, I think he could definitely do some damage for you. We may try to do another build of that another day. I don't think I have time for that today. but he might be able to do a bit more damage. And we're going to really crush our time on this level. My previous best time was 8 minutes. So we have cut that in half with this champion. And what was his damage? He did more damage overall than Gala, who is the damage dealer, and Tormund did the most. Very interesting. Very interesting. I would have definitely thought that Gala did the most damage. So I personally do not need or want to use him anywhere else in the game, but he can be used anywhere. Every team in the game, for the most part, needs a decreased defense champion. He's a good version of a decreased defense champion. But again, if we come in here, in order to, let's just go to recent. In order to make him survivable enough, we need to build up that HP. And really the main way that I've done that is with this 6-star rare HP percentage chest. Okay, if I come in here and like try to put any other chest on him, you can see I'm losing 10,000 HP just from that one chest. Okay, so let me know what you think about this guy in the comments. Do you have him? Will you build him for your Dwarves Faction Wars? And if this guide was helpful, consider hitting the like and subscribe buttons. Thank you so much for watching. I'm MTG Jedi. You guys have a wonderful day.